down here for the wrap up of 9W E3. Here I'm going to talk about some major, what I think of which they are the game's main highlights. I guess I should start with Disney Interactive. Well, the one thing that I find interesting was Epic Mickey. This is, say, when you use, say, the paint and liner, I think. I know what the stuff you use to remove paint. Remove certain obstacles but each action you take also has a consequence. Well, they try to make Mickey more interesting because more hold and severed like we know like that Mickey Mouse Club, we know at Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. But there's one other a Wii exclusive EA game, which is actually the complete remake of an N64 classic, GoldenEye 007. Indeed, a remake of a classic N64 game. Ubisoft, one major thing is Ubisoft, despite all the Tom Clancy game and Assassin's Creed, with another Tom Clancy game, as well as a follow-up to Assassin's Creed 2. One thing I find looking forward to is Rayman Origins. Although I will also do a retrospect on the Rayman series, maybe by next month. You might tune in for. I'd say tune in for that. Now I find, but there are some other games from two games developed I know well, Konami and Capcom. Konami will has a Castlevania Lord of Shadows. But there's also a co-op Xbox Live exclusive called Castlevania Spider-Man of Sorrow. It has 5 playable characters in the Castlevania game and co-op. But there's also the next-gen reboot of Castlevania associated with Kojima Productions, Castlevania Lord of Shadows. This is a full 3D game. Somehow let's say of God of War, it's Assassin's Creed. Also it's Shadow of the Colossus. But Capcom, well, this Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That's something everyone is looking forward to. That's what everyone's looking forward to. Also, Dead Rising 2. But I never liked the 72-hour time limit that the game has. So there's also its Xbox Arcade prequel, K0, which bridges the gap between the first and the second Dead Rising campaigns. But Nintendo has, say, the revealment of the Nintendo 3DS. They are trying to, though, how the thing may work. Well, actually, it'd be like pulling the drawers out from the back instead of the front. That's one way you can. That's one way you can tell. That's one way I can tell. That's one way I can tell. That's one way I can say. Put it simply. But there's also going to be some, but there's also an element to say of some, which I may mention in the Nintendo, is that there are 64. That say most N64 games will be ported to the Nintendo 3DS. This isn't the first time that a N64 game gets transported to the handheld. Like say, Super Mario 64 DS was the first one to demonstrate its 3D capability, but it was also at the launch of the Nintendo 3. It was also at the but it was released at the launch of the Nintendo DS. Well, I guess that's all I can tell. And I hope you have a good E3 till next year. And I hope I'll be in a better place than this little town.